So, the Hyksos are driven out and the two kingdoms of Egypt are united. The boy king Ahmose I flourished into a tactician, builder, and profound religious pragmatist, achieving more in the last 5 years of his reign than many pharaohs did in 20. Having been called into the Duat, the throne has passed to his son Amunhotep. Amunhotep is believed to have ruled alongside his father for a few years, though he wasn't always the heir to the throne. His two elder brothers predeceased Ahmose, however, and thus the way was cleared for young Amunhotep. The burgeoning scribal class apparently had not yet learned the secrets of backing up their files, so the written record about Amunhotep hasn't survived very well. One example of ambiguity in the records is that the star Sirius, a very important astronomical object to the ancient Egyptians, was recorded as rising on a particular day of a particular month. Now, this was recorded, but the record didn't include which city the observation was made in. If the observation was recorded in Thebes, the royal city of the 18th dynasty, then Amenhotep's reign would have begun in 1517 BCE. If it were made in the more ancient holy city of Memphis, then his reign would have begun 20 years earlier. This ambiguity means we don't know when his father's reign ended. Since that date is calculated based on the same astronomical event, it also has a knock-on effect on the lengths and dates of the reigns of future kings. Given the supposed dates upon which his brothers died, and therefore the earliest possible date that he could have become co-pharaoh, Amenhotep I was probably the first pharaoh of his dynasty to rule over both kingdoms of Egypt for his entire reign. Given this fact, and the fact that he took over from a previous generation, which his father didn't, if I were in Manetho's place, I might have started the 18th dynasty with Amenhotep. But there we are. Among the royal titulary that Amenhotep had as pharaoh was Kauaftau, bull subduing many lands. This was his Horus or Serek name, which confirmed that the king was the divine avatar of the spirit of Horus, and by Amenhotep's time was akin to an expression of intent. Horus, surveying the world, has designs to be the trampling bull, conquering in Egypt's name, and is embodied by Amenhotep to do so. At least that's how I interpret it. As far as his designs for conquest went, Amenhotep seems to have had some success. There is a record, for instance, of a temple he built on the island of Sai, which is close to the Third Cataract. A temple would be part of a larger settlement, so this is very telling about Amenhotep's success in Nubia, though it might have annoyed the locals, as we'll see in a later video. He might also have been responsible for recapturing western oases that fell from Egyptian control during the intermediate period that his father ended. Aside from military success, Amenhotep seems to have a remarkable cultural legacy, as he very likely founded the settlement of Set Ma'at at modern-day Deir el-Medina. Maybe you haven't heard of Deir el-Medina, but if you've ever seen the walls of a New Kingdom Egyptian tomb, then you've probably laid eyes on the work of one of its residents. Arguably, no other settlement in the history of Egyptology has ever revealed as much detail about the lives of everyday Egyptians. Although that may not be true forever, the wonders of dazzling Aten, rediscovered only last year, are still being weighed in the balance. Of course, Set Ma'at would endure as an artisan settlement well into the 19th dynasty, where, as told in a previous video, it was the site of the world's first trade union and workers' strike. It was once thought that Amenhotep's successor Thutmose founded Set Ma'at, since the earliest evidence we can date for certain goes back to Thutmose's reign, but Amenhotep and his mother Amoset Nefertari were both deified as the patron gods of the region, which seems to indicate their direct involvement in its existence. Amenhotep was so revered that archaeologists have found fragments of earthenware at Deir el-Medina showing that the people of the town would ask the deified king, long after his death, for advice. It was said that the sacred idol of Amenhotep would nod in answer to questions. As befitting someone who founded an artisan settlement, Amenhotep commissioned a few large-scale building projects, but almost nothing in the north, and much of what he achieved is lost today, having been dismantled for one reason or another over the millennia. For example, his mortuary temple was dismantled to make way for Hatshepsut's tremendous funerary palace half a century later. As with Ahmose, we don't know precisely where Amenhotep was initially buried, given the separation of tomb from mortuary temple, but his mummy was found in the same 21st dynasty cache as his father's. It was, of course, part of the Pharaoh's Golden Parade in April 2021. Amunhotep was succeeded by a man called Thutmose, but Thutmose doesn't seem to be Amunhotep's son. So how did he end up on the throne of the two lands, when Amunhotep had several confirmed children? Next week, I'll try to solve that mystery. Thanks for watching as always, and kindly remember to give me a thumbs up if you like the video. It helps keep my channel treading the algorithmic waters. The respected artisans beseeching my statue for advice and watching as I solemnly nod are my backers at patreon.com/armchairegypt, and they have my thanks now and always. Until next time, my fellow armchair Egyptologists, life, prosperity and health to you all. Thanks for watching. Head over to my channel for more, or click here to see what the YouTube demons think you should watch next. I hope you'll consider subscribing. If you'd like to support and collaborate on the channel with me, go to patreon.com/armchairegypt. You can also join my Discord community, there's an invite link in the description.